There are no bounds to what women can accomplish, and no force is more powerful than a determined woman to rise. As we celebrate Women's Month, Chianquisha College students under the supervision of Mr. Ian Mark Arevalo, in compliance with their National Service Training Program, portrayed some extraordinary and empowered women who showcased women's sense of self-worth, their ability to determine their own choices, and their right to influence themselves and others as trailblazers and harbingers of change. Just sit back and relax as we watch how women dominate the world.
Simulan natin. Ang una nating performer, tinatawagan natin si Famulan at si Urduha.
Welcome, trainees. I am Hua Mulan, and we are gathered here for you to start your journey in becoming my fellow soldiers.
No, my warriors. They'll be training under my leadership.
I'm sorry, what? Obviously, they will be choosing me as their general, and they need someone who is more qualified and experienced, of course. Unlike you, on the other hand, what makes you think that you're fit to be the commanding officer, huh?
How dare you speak to me that way? I am Princesa Urduha, the one who reigns in the land of Tawalisi, or in your modern names, Pangasinan. I am a woman of power and wit. The sounds of swords clashing in a duel fuels me to drive myself further beyond my capabilities. Oh yeah? Have I mentioned that no man has ever defeated me in a battle yet? I have proclaimed to the land that those who could marry me are the only ones who could defeat me, explaining why I am still single.
Urduha, my dear. I was never royalty nor grew up being fed with a silver spoon. I am a woman who dared to dishonor her family and ancestors by following my true heart. Join the battlefield, work my blood, sweat, and tears to prove that I am fit to fight war. Prove the generals so early that my ancestors would wake up from their country. Not that I am bragging, but how is that?
Hey, I too protected my land from invaders. Well, at least I don't have to pretend to be a man just to make a name for myself. Since I was a child, I was free to express my femininity while being able to wield a sword and slit the throats of those who dare to steal the lands away from me.
You don't understand, Urduha. I did it to protect my sick father. He fought enough, and now it is my turn to protect my family. It was the only way. As the only child of the Hua family, I can only pretend to be a man and join the army in replacing my father. I never thought about how risky my decision was, but as long as my father is safe, my heart is at peace. My homeland is so cruel as they see women are those who should stay in houses and bear children, and daughters who dare to disobey their fathers will be punished. So, I had to hide my true self. I was only then accepted as a female warrior after I had proven myself to the world by saving the kingdom and brought honor to the family. Well, it was all worth it after all.
Well, now that you have said that, you are right. I, for one, had many times where I had to argue with my family because they kept forcing me into this relationship, this marriage that I have never wanted. That man was nothing but air. But because of my soft nature in the household, when I am not training, they sometimes forget that I am not just a delicate decoration on the throne that you could just marry off for the sake of amity. I guess we are not so different after all.
You are right, Urduha. For what it's worth, I think that we will both make great captains who break the rules and fight for what our heart truly desires. We can do this. Oh, we forgot about the trains. I'm awfully sorry to have to keep you. This is so embarrassing.
Yeah, we fight a lot of times, but it always ends well. For me, at least. I do love to pick on her. I'm stronger though. Can you do a sword flip?
Oh, come on. You don't just start again. Can we please focus? We still have a lot of training sessions to do.
Well, yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
Good. As I was saying earlier, I assure you that after our training sessions, we will both make a strong warrior out of it.
Now I'm with her on this one. Okay, move on your feet.
Okay, let's get this show on the road. Tricky, get the bags.
All right,
Let's move it. Have fun.
Mushu. Now move along, soldiers. Proceed to the camp and see you later.
So much. We now move on after we go to ancient time. We now move on to sometimes modern. May we call on one of the most controversial and well-loved princess, Princess Diana.
It was October of the year 1996, one evening in the chilly and rainy night of England. A woman known to the world for her beauty and her messy personal life sat in her private suite surrounded by the beautiful walls of the famed Kensington Palace. Diana, Princess of Wales, perhaps one of the most famous and most photographed women in the world at that time of this century, sat down for a secretly recorded oral history with her good friend and renowned biographer Andrew Morton, for a short conversation not about her messy love life or liaisons, but about her cause and one of the biggest changes that she has brought to this world. This is a few months before her untimely demise, and yet in this excerpt, she talks about one of the causes that's closest to her heart.
This is biographer Andrew Morton, October of 1996. I'm sitting in Kensington Palace here with Princess of Wales. Can you please state your whole name and information to confirm, ma'am?
Why, of course. My name is Diana Frances Spencer. I am a member, was a member of the British royal family, and also a member of one of the most respected and oldest aristocratic families in the whole United Kingdom, the Spencers. I have two sons, William and Harry, who were both princes.
Well, thank you for that. We're here today not to talk much about those things, but more so on one controversial cause that you have since then supported. Mom, the press and politicians have been calling you so many names. They've been calling you a lost cannon. The royals are apparently displeased at your action in regards to your open support too. Gays?
Well, that's right. I honestly don't mind. You see, Andrew, whatever nicknames people would give me, it doesn't really interest me anymore. I felt it from that day, you see. My butler, Paul Burrell, had told me how much I had changed those poor men's lives.
When you say men, are we talking about the gays? You see, I very much agree with these claims. It was during 1987 and I remember it very clearly. You openly supported HIV and did something that shocked everyone, including me.
Yes, I shook the young gent's hands when everyone clearly told me not to. I didn't think much of it at that time, and everyone from my staff warned me to avoid physical contact because of the fact that these people are HIV carriers. But to me, they were no different than us. We also become sick, yet we could still shake hands or even hug each other. But why does that have to change for these people? It's terribly unfair.
I agree. Do you know that you have changed the perception of people due to that simple handshake? Do you, ma'am? Because of you, the whole world perception on gays and HIV patients have changed, and report by the BBC show that half of your supporters are all part of the gay community. You've made quite an impact, Your Highness.
Well, that's nice, I guess. But I didn't do that just to get supporters or have more approval ratings. I did it because I just wanted to help. I didn't want to see many people suffering just because of a mere perception. I still don't get why many have to discriminate against these people. When I saw all of that, I just knew I've got to do something about it. And during the year 1991, this man who was suffering from HIV teared up while I talked to him. He was bedridden, and I leaned down ever so gently to engulf him in this bear hug. I just felt his relief, and it made me feel as if I could really do something. Remember the speech I gave on HIV? So many members of parliament and the royal family wanted to chop me off after that.
Yes, it was an amazing speech. It changed everyone's mind, I think. I must say now, Mom, you may never become our queen someday in the future, but you sure have earned the title as the queen of the people in the Commonwealth, and perhaps the world. It was the 80s we're talking about, hence people just can't. We still can't understand the gays even until now. You've done an amazing job to help promote peace and change, Mom. The gay community from all over the world must be so blessed to have such kind soul like you to care and reach out for them.
No, I'm the one who is blessed. At least, despite the mistreatments and that I've gotten from the institution, I still live in this beautiful palace and am admired by probably millions of people. The one thing I can do the least is to lend the voice that was given to me to those who are vulnerable. I just simply wanted to help and spread love to these beautiful souls. They deserve it. Frankly, everyone deserves love, isn't it?
That's very right, ma'am. Thank you for today. That was the end of their mini interview. At that moment, Diana, Princess of Wales, would not have known that she was destined for eternal greatness and also tragedy. Exactly 10 months later, people would wake up the day after August 31, 1997, and would receive the news that shocked the whole world. Diana, Princess of Wales, would sadly die in Paris due to a fatal car crash. She was 36 years old, but that would not change the impact of her cause and campaigns to support HIV patients and gays.
Perhaps the most controversial of all, her support for the LGBT community made much of an impact than she would have thought. Her funeral took place in England on September 6, 1997. It would be the biggest and grandest funeral of all. In the crowd of mourners were people of all ages and genders. Perhaps the greatest legacy that she left was the fact that half of the mourners in the crowd were gay couples who came out to mourn her tragic demise. An icon and a feminist in her own right, Diana, Princess of Wales, is remembered not just for her beauty or tumultuous personal life, but her impact and love for the causes and people she supported. Indeed, she is and will forever be known as the Queen of People's Hearts. Thank you very much.
We now move on to Anne Frank.
I'd like to think that I'm just an ordinary teenage girl. But despite my seemingly young age and perhaps my emotionally driven remarks you can read from my diary, I got to experience the pain of losing my fellow countrymen,
I need it. Get down.
the death of my very own family, and the yearning for freedom against the imprisonment from our sufferings. But above every pain and right I had to hate you world, I remained grateful in life's darkest moments. I am Annalise Marie Frank, or better yet, known as Anne Frank. And as I confide myself to a diary, which I named Kitty, I hope that my story can give hope to those who have succumbed to despair. Behind my diary's success was my loving father.
Oh, Anne, who are your visitors? Hi everyone, I'm Otto Frank, father of Anne, and I hope that Anne has introduced me well to you all. Welcome to Prison Crack 263. This is the place where Edith, Margaret, Anne, and I took shelter when we heard that the German forces are planning to deport my daughter, Margaret. I fled to this cramped and dusty attic from June 12, 1942 to August 1, 1944. Imagine living here for 2 years? Ugh. Although days and nights are crowded with the sound of gunfires and heavy chaos. I need a hide! Anne and I share a common bond of our humor, trying to be the mood makers of this attic. I've always seen Anne writing something in that diary of hers, which we gave to her on her 13th birthday. Oh wait, the customers are coming in. I have to attend to some business matter first. I hope Anne has a lot of stories to tell you. Anne?
Well, initially, writing in a diary is a really strange experience for someone like me. It seems to me that later on, neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the musings of the 13-year-old schoolgirl. But as we were hiding in the attic, a member of the Dutch government named Jared Bolkestein announced in a radio station hoping to collect eyewitness accounts of the Dutch people's sufferings from the German occupation. Upon hearing that, my eyes glimmered with hope. Knowing purpose has been granted to me to use my diary as a tool to share my experience with the world.
Oh no, Edith and Morgan, German forces have arrived! That was on August 4, 1944, the day that I got separated from my family. Not a day goes by that I wish it would have turned out differently for them. The- I went, they went to Bergen-Belsen concentration camp while I was sent to Auschwitz concentration camp. I wish you will until we meet again, my family.
Death has eventually found my mother, my sister, eventually I. But my father has survived and carried out my wishes. I do want to go on living even after my death. And therefore, I am grateful to God for this gift of developing myself and of writing. I can shake off everything if I write. My sorrows disappear. My courage is reborn. Trophies, medals, I may not have those, but to share comfort to the hurting and to bestow love for the broken would be my greatest achievement I can ever give to humanity. I can feel the sufferings of millions, and yet, if I look up into the heavens, I think that all will come right, that this cruelty too will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again.
The life that my family faced was rather tragic and insufferable. Not a day goes by that I wish it would have turned out differently for them. That I'd be able to see my Anne grow up as a talented woman that she is. Oh, my daughter Anne, you were such a bright light in this world full of exorbitant pain and agony. That is why I, Otto Frank, am the driving force behind the publication of the diary of my daughter. Her efforts should not go unnoticed with her sheer determination in humanity. Having that in mind, I've decided to share Anne's story to commemorate her memories. Her works serve as a way for the young generation to be inspired and have a hopeful perspective in life. We cannot change what happened anymore. The only thing we can do is to learn from the past and realize what discrimination and prosecution of innocent people truly means. This has been the story of my daughter Anne Frank. Thank you.
We now move on to one of the most controversial. Maybe she may not be called a woman, but she is a woman by heart. Let's now call on Caitlyn Jenner.
In 1976, being a gold medalist was the first step of Caitlyn Jenner's rise to fame. Here is the Bruce Jenner an interview that happened almost 5 decades ago.
The 1976 Olympics just concluded 10 minutes ago, and here we are interviewing Bruce Jenner, our newest gold medalist winner of the decathlon. Congratulations, Mr. Jenner. How does it feel finally getting that gold medal?
Well, first of all, thank you. It feels surreal. I've been waking up every morning, training and improving myself every day in these past years. And to finally get the taste of victory is not sinking in yet.
However, after the 1976 Olympics has been concluded, Bruce Jenner suddenly announced his retirement. The following scene will be the news flash that surprised the world.
He is hot right now because just an hour ago, Jenner announced his retirement. And it is even revealed that he left his voting post beside the Olympic Stadium because he had already decided that he would never compete again.
Fast forward to the present. Bruce Jenner stunned the whole world with the shocking revelation that she is now a transgender. Caitlyn Jenner first made public appearance to Kendall's show to address some new hot tea. Here is the episode segment of Caitlyn Jenner spilling all the tea on the Kai Kai show.
Welcome back to another episode of our talk show. I am Kendall Jenner, and this is the Kai Kai Talk Show. So today, we're gonna go Kai Kai in a virtual pajama party with my gorgeous dad, Caitlyn Jenner.
Hi! You finally invited me to your show. You have no idea how much I've been waiting for this, Kendall. And of course, you look great.
Well, as always, Dad, you look gorgeous in that pajama.
Thank you. You look so gorgeous too.
Well, Dad, let's get to the real tea. What was your reaction when the public opinion wasn't on your side when you announced that you're gonna transition?
Well, first of all, I've anticipated all of this before I even announced it on the public. But ever since I was Bruce Jenner, I wake up every morning thinking I have to get up to do this and do that. I always had an identity crisis, but I met my first wife and then I met your mom, Chris. And the thought of me being confused about my gender was long gone until a few years ago. It came back and I felt unhappy. But when I transitioned, I felt like I had my soul back and the happiness followed afterwards. And here I am literally living my best life and I don't regret anything. Anyone can say what they wanna say, but I'm still me.
Actually, I was worried when the news broke out, but I'm happy that you went past that. I'm so proud of you, Dad.
Oh, thank you, Kendall. That's what I needed, my daughter's support. That was all I needed, nothing else.
Always, Dad, we're gonna be here for you always. So, one fan asked, what were the challenges after transitioning into a woman?
Oh my god, thank you for asking me that question because one thing that was really important for a transgender were the pronouns. And I don't really care if you call me both pronouns because that's who I was before and who I am right now. And I even get comments online why I still allow you guys to call me dad. Well, that's because my role as a father will never be removed from me. I'm still gonna be your dad whether I'm Caitlyn or Bruce. And that will never change, Kendall. The same thing for Kylie as well.
I agree, Dad. Okay, last question. What advice can you give to those people out there who are still in doubt for transitioning?
Well, when I was in doubt, I had a lot of responsibilities to think of, including my ex-wife, there's my kids, my image, my fans, and there was a lot of pressure under my shoulder. But there was always one thing I was sure about, and it's that I felt like I was always trapped inside a man's body, and it just wasn't me. So if you feel that way, then do what you think you feel like is the right choice because at the end of the day, it was your choice for yourself, not for the others.
Oh, what a powerful advice, Dad. And thank you for giving us your time. I know that you're busy, but still you're here. Okay, it's a wrap for today's Kai Kai show. I will see you next week for the next episode. Ciao!
Bye!
At this present time, Caitlyn Jenner is still an advocate for the transgender out there and still continuing to be living her best life. Thank you for tuning our play, Caitlyn Jenner, A Life to Remember. This is Christina Ko.
And this is Angelo Gianco who played as Bruce and Caitlyn Jenner.
And I am Alan C., who is the reporter, and Kendall Jenner. Thanks for tuning in our play.
So far, everything is doing well. Let's now move on to one of the most controversial singer in the world. Before Lady Gaga, there is Madonna. Madonna, take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here at Den Show. I'll make sure it will be fun tonight because of our guest. Did you know her latest album was sold for over 200 million worldwide? She is also the highest paid solo artist during her era. Isn't that crazy? She is the most successful artist of all time. And we are very honored to have the Queen of Pop, Let's give her a round of applause. Madonna.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Austin.
Madonna, a beautiful woman. You have a new look, black straight hair and glasses. Come, have a seat.
Oh, it's a great privilege to be here.
Let's start with the latest news about you. It's all over the internet how the charity you founded has helped millions of orphans in Malawi. How do you feel that you help a lot of people during their hardships?
Oh, honestly, during their hardships, I feel very, very honored. It has always been my dream to help, young kids, to give them hope.
Oh, nice. So because of all your achievements, may we ask, what is your ambition?
Oh, like I've said from my previous interviews, I really wanna rule the world.
Wow, a very short but a powerful answer. So, when you started as a solo artist, some can see the bright future ahead of you while many criticize you. Do you agree that those times are a hard one?
I remember back then I wasn't really confident at all. It was all a front. I have been insecure. I felt like a nobody. But I knew I had to do something. If I was going to make something out of my life, I had to, hurl myself into the dark space, go down the road less traveled. And it involves being different. I had to show everything about me inside and out, which is very different from the norms back then.
5 years includes becoming the best-selling female artist ever, the most successful solo artist in the history of the American charts, the highest grossing solo touring artist ever. Wow, just wow. Congrats, and I'm so proud of you.
I also have to thank my team who has always been with me, who helped me be where I am today.
You have a big heart of gratitude. You deserve what you have now, and I see the all work hardship that you do before when you are starting as a solo artist, and what needed to be what a successful person is. So maybe ask, what makes you happy?
Now I really enjoy making people feel that there is hope in life. Regular practice regular acts of kindness, especially to my kids.
Hmm, what advice will you give to your younger self knowing what you know now?
I would tell her to go out and explore. Don't worry too much about a decision you have to make. Don't try to weigh pros and cons and follow logic. Just do what feels right.
Powerful as your songs. So may we ask you to sing one line from your favorite?
Oh, sure. I really like Crazy for You. Here it goes.
Last question, Madonna. Before we end this show, what can you advise to the people that are starting to create music as a solo artist?
Mm, do what you believe would make you most happy. Don't listen to the people that are saying negative things about you, like I did before when I'm starting this kind of music. Just remember that being different doesn't mean you're wrong. That's all. Thank you, Austin.
Thank you, Madonna. Thank you, everyone. Live and love and be kind and make yourself proud. Good night.
And I'm now going to move on to one of the scientists, the woman scientist of all time, Marie Curie.
I read this scientific journal. It's good.
great.
Do you want to read it?
If it's okay with you, sure.
There's something wrong. What is it? You're upset.
Oh, I'm okay. What are you going on about?
I know when something's wrong. Tell me, Marie.
There's a newspaper article. It's about us. They're upset with me, Pierre. Why? Is it because I'm a woman? If they don't want to appreciate me, it's okay. But why do they have to tarnish what people think of me? Tabloids? Seriously. I'm scared. What else would they do to discredit me?
Is that about our work and the Nobel Prize? You deserve to be nominated. You deserve to win. You worked on it with me. I'm going to talk to people. We're going to fix it. Let's end this call for now.
Thank you. Goodbye. Pierre, let me show me your work. Are you in the lab?
I told you you're going to win it with me. You were so happy on the stage. Anyway, look at this solution I've been working on. Does it look okay?
It does look promising.
What about you? What have you been working on?
I'm working on polonium and radium, new elements. I've been busy, you know.
How did you discover them?
I use techniques I invented for isolating radioactive isotopes.
I'm proud of you.
That means so much. Oh wait, I have a schedule to attend to. I'll be interviewed for our Nobel Prize win. I have to go. Bye.
Madam Curie, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's talk about your work. How does it feel to be a Nobel Prize winner? And of course, congratulations.
It's been surreal, you know. I've always loved my work. Ever since I was a student, I've been interested in science and everything about it. And of course, it's a huge honor that I won the prize with my husband here.
That's so nice to hear, Marie. And you're the first woman to win. How special is that for you?
It's a privilege. Women have a long way to go in terms of recognition, not only in science but also in other fields like medicine, sport, and entertainment. To be able to open doors for future generations, particularly girls and women, makes me very happy and humble.
To handle medicals, possible harmful effect on your health?
It's scary, you know, it really is. But if the work that I do enriches science, especially chemistry, it would be an honor to risk my life. If that means that the work that I do is contribute for what I can for the world, you know, it's hard, but it's worth it.
That's an admirable stance. You deserve your recognition, Marie. It was an honor to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your insights. I had fun talking to you. Very promising. Again, congratulations for winning the Nobel Prize.
Thank you, thank you. I want to remind all of the young girls who are watching this right now. People will try to discredit you. Some might even take credit for your work. But as long as you fight for yourself,
and you know your worth, you know what you work hard for, you will be successful. Thank you so much.
We're now having Team Lenny Robredo. Team Lenny Robredo, take it away.
The last man standing is a woman.
For BBM, here's your question. Why should people not vote for Ms. Lenlen for Vice President?
Just as many have said, and just as the trend has been, we have had only one woman, the Vice President of the country. And never again. Away from the eyes of the public, Lenlen begins to speak. Makamit.
Awa. Sabi ko sa'yo eh. Hindi ako magpolitiko. Awa ka. Nasaan ka man ngayon? Kung napapanood mo man ako yan. Huwag naman kami iniwan. Mahirap maging nanay na nasa politiko. Pero para sa'yo, iingatan ko yung reputasyon ng pangalan natin.
Well, now, this is going to be a Lenlen versus BBM fight. In an interview said that the lack of remorse from Senator BBM is worrisome. Exactly what do you want to hear from him?
Yung apology. Voluntary given yun. Hindi natin pwedeng ipilit sa kanya, pero yung akin lang, yung recognition ng maraming kamalian in the past. Sali na dun yung hidden wealth na hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin natin nakukuha. Ito ay nakaw sa taong bayan. Hindi yata natatama na i-acknowledge na lang yun. Kailangan ibalik yun sa atin.
Ibabalik ko daw kung ano-ano. Eh, I cannot give what I do not have. I do not have control. I do not have any knowledge of any of the things. Once again, let me repeat. I cannot give what I do not have. Abogado po si Congresswoman Lenlen. Sigurado ako. Alam naman niya hindi ang pamilya ko mahadlang sa pagbayad ng compensation sa human rights. Ang Liberal Party ang umahadlang sa pagbayad ng human rights.
Hindi po yan totoo. Gustong-gusto na nga po mabayaran ng korte ang human rights victim. Pero, kakaunti pa nga lang po ang na-cover ng judgment ng court. Ang dami pa po nilang tinatagong yaman.
Yaman?
Nakikita po natin yan sa pamuhay nila ngayon.
Napakasimple lamang. Kung talagang ninanais ninyo na mabayaran ng compensation, bawiin ng gobyerno ang inyong claim at agad mababayaran ng human rights. Ang party nyo ang humahadlang.
Let me present to you the incoming Vice President, Ms. Lenlen, from the 3rd District of Camarines Sur. Good evening, Vice President Ms. Lenlen, and congratulations. Ngayon, the concern of many is about the undervotes of 3.9 million being irregularities. What can you say about this?
Nag-umpisa ito, iba ang alegasyon na lumalabas naman na hindi ito totoo. Ngayon, bago na naman. Sa akin lang, yung mga sinungaling na alegasyon nila, ay nakikita naman natin ngayon na hindi totoo. Para sa akin, ang unfair lang. Hindi lang sa akin, pero sa mga taong bumoboto at sumusuporta sa akin. Ang interes ko lamang ay katotohanan at pawang katotohanan lamang. I want to take those this opportunity to thank those who sacrificed for me, those who believe in me and helping me, not just in time and effort, but also in resources. Even until now, I cannot be where I am without your help and your support. Once again, I am Lenlen, your Vice President of the Philippines.
Do not lose sight of what you believe in.
You do not lose sight of the goal.
You drown out the voices because there are bigger battles to fight. Last Man Standing is a Woman. A creative non-fiction play by Joshua Eric Tan and Jessica Domingano. Thank you.
And now let's move on to our next group, Lea Salonga.
Behind every success, there is unseen hard work, sacrifice, and persistence. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we'll be presenting about Lea Salonga. Lea Salonga, at the age of 7, made her professional debut in 1978 on the stage performing the musical The King and I. She started becoming lead roles in many different musicals, and she started her recording profession at the age of 10 with her first album called Small Voice, which received a gold certification. In 1989, despite the success of her playing Kim in the debut production of Miss Saigon, and after winning the Tony Award, opportunities were not that much for her during that time, especially when her agent auditioned her for the role of Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady.
I can't wait to hear their feedback on my audition. I've been waiting for opportunities like this in order to prove to them the capabilities of a young Asian woman like me.
On the other hand, things were not going as expected.
All the candidates who had auditioned, it is said that one of them was the young Lea Salonga, who was the first Asian performer to win a Tony Award for Best Actress in a musical. I might consider granting her the role. But wait, this role is traditionally and is more suited to a Caucasian actress. But she, being an Asian, might not fit in well in that role. Maybe I should just straight up call her agent and inform them that I would not be seeing her.
The director then informed her agent, who immediately informed Lea about the sad news.
What? This is unbelievable! I do not understand why they would reject me or my audition just because I'm Asian. What's that got to do with anything? I do not understand. Is my performance on Miss Saigon wasn't enough to prove to them that I'm capable of such roles? I wanted to prove that I can extend the suspension of disbelief that I, a little Asian actress, can play this traditionally Caucasian role and you would believe everything that's happening on stage.
Instead of dwelling on the rejection, she wanted to prove that race has nothing to do with talent. Long after that phone call from her agent, another opportunity opened, and she was invited by producer Cameron McIntosh to play the role of Eponine in Les Miserables.
On my own, pretending he's beside me. All alone, I walk with him till morning. Without him, I feel his arms surround me. And when I lose my way, I close my eyes and he has found me.
Wow, bravo! What an amazing performance. She does not look like an Asian. She does not look like an Asian at all when I see her up there.
Her career ever since was doing great. She was also the singing voice behind two official Disney princesses, Jasmine and Mulan. She was also named a Disney Legend in 2011 for her work with the Walt Disney Company. She broke racial barriers when she played Fantine later on in the same musical. The award-winning Broadway singer-actress is truly a role model that people look up to as she uses her social media platforms to voice out political issues, including gender equality and community engagement. That will be all. Thank you.
From Lenny Robredo and Lea Salonga, we'll now move on to another Filipino woman, an icon. Let's now call on Imelda Marcos.
If you have a copy of that, Mrs. Marcos, the Marcos committee will appreciate it.
Truth but nothing about the truth in this investigation for these two senator committees.
But not for an interview. Just to show first the truth that I'm not. This is not an interview. But the most urgent reason I was looking forward to my coming to this hearing. The Philippine Senate to seek your help, honorable senators, to help me implement the last will and testament of the late President Marcos, to enlist assets in the hands of trustees, to implement the Marcos Humanitarian Foundation so that we can help the country to our economic crisis and help the Filipino people in their agony and suffering.
Because, did you have an interview with Christine Herrera, the Daily Inquirer?
Your Honor, the truth is that I never gave interviews.
Among the names that you have mentioned in this interview was the name of Lucio Tan.
Again, I would like to invoke my right to remain silent.
Would you kindly explain why your silence should be invoked on this questioning? First, in the name of Duavit, we are only interested what is the first name of this Duavit that you mentioned. I don't think that it will anyway incriminate you, Mrs. Marcos.
I think I better obey the orders of my counsel to invoke my right to remain silent. Because of the many cases, the hundreds of cases that I have in Sandigan Bayan and elsewhere.
What about the name of Eduardo Cojuangco?
The same right, Your Honor. Someone who has so much, but Gas has so much. I knew that he was pretty rich, and that is why I was telling him, why are you in politics with all this wealth that you have? Early on almost on day one, I knew he had more money than people thought than I expected that he had.
Yes, and
Lawyers feeling that this is a fishing expedition. The Honorable Silvino Pampilio Jr. proceeding.
All the cases dismissed.
Accused Imelda Romualdez Marcos and Hector T. Rivera are hereby acquitted on the ground of reasonable act.
PGH, the premier hospital of the country. Of course, I thank the Lord to believe me again of 32 cases that will subtract from the 901 cases that was filed by Cory Aquino against the Marcoses. That I hope that, well, I'm still alive. We terminate all these cases so that I can fulfill my dream for my country and for my people.
We now move on to the next. From the Philippine context, we move on again to international context. May we welcome Rosa Parks.
A pleasant afternoon to all. Today, we will witness a woman who demonstrates that you must not be afraid to take the first step to bring about change. Just sit back and relax as we watch her incredible story.
I would like to remembered as a person who wanted to be free, so other people would also be free.
Rosa Parks was a civil rights leader who refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a segregated bus led to the Montgomery bus boycott. Her bravery led to nationwide effort to end racial segregation. On Thursday, December 1, after work, Rosa boarded a city bus. She sat with 3 other black passengers in the fifth row of the black section. A few stops later, the first 4 rows were filled with white passengers, and one white man is left standing. By law, white and black may not sit in the same row.
Have you people not seen that I have no seat?
However, Rosa Parks blatantly ignored the white man, while remaining seated, making the white man remain standing due to separation.
You, woman, are you not going to move?
What if I say no? Will you let me remain in my seat?
What are you talking about? Are you insane? You should know your boundaries.
See the sign over there? It says seats for the colored, so back off.
The white man stays silent as he sees the sign. As the bus park was riding continued on its route, it began to fill with white passengers. Eventually, the bus was back. And the driver noticed that several white passengers were standing in the aisle. The bus driver stopped the bus and moved the sign separating the two sections back 1 row, asking black passengers, including Rosa Parks, to give up their seat. As the white driver came closer to the black section, he said,
"You'll better make it light on yourself and let these kind white folks have those seats."
Three of the other black passengers complied. However, Rosa Parks still remained seated.
"Hey, can't you see the sign? Now move."
I don't think I should have to move. I've been here before all of them came, and I will stay here until my stop.
This girl really is insane. Don't make us call the authorities.
Call me insane if you will, but we all know how unfair this law is.
Give up your seat now, or else leave my bus. Don't make me call the police to come and arrest you.
You're free to do so. I'm sick of being treated as if I'm a second-class citizen. To be honest, taking the bus was one of the first times I realized there was a black and white world.
Soon after, the police arrested Park at the scene and charged her with violating Chapter 6, Section 11 of the Montgomery City Code. Her action inspired the leader of the local black community to organize the Montgomery bus boycott. After a year, this would lead to the segregation law being unconstitutional.
People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired. But that is not true. I was not tired physically. No. The only tired I was tired of giving in. And to bring about change, we must not be afraid to take the first step. We will fail when we fail to try. I am Rosa Parks, an international icon of resistance to racial segregation and known as the First Lady of Civil Rights and the Mother of the Freedom Movement. That's all, and thank you.
We're now going to move on to a contemporary woman, none other than TV personality, Oprah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we are privileged to have with us in the show one of the most influential women in American history, a prominent TV talk show host, a businesswoman, and one of the greatest Black philanthropists Let us all welcome Miss Ofra Winfrey.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I feel honored and humbled to be with you all tonight. It's nice to be here.
Oprah, the audience would like to know how you were during your childhood. How do you describe your teenage life?
I was raised on the farm with my grandmother for the first 6 years of my life. I knew somehow that my life would be different and it would be better. I never had a clear cut vision of what it was that I would be doing, but somehow I feel that my life should change and be better. I was born in rural Mississippi in 1954. I came to live with my grandmother because I was born out of wedlock. My grandmother gave me the foundation for success. She taught me how to read, and that opened the door to all kinds of possibilities for me. After my grandmother died, I lived with my mother, who works as a maid. At 9 years old, my cousin raped me. And after few years, I have been sexually abused by a family friend and uncle. But I kept silent about all of it for years. I skipped school, stole money from my mother, had been sexually promiscuous, and even ran away. At 14, I gave birth to a baby boy, but died after 2 weeks. I got my life back on track when I was 16. I concentrated on my education and returned to public speaking. I pursued college after I won a four-year college scholarship in a speaking competition.
Oprah, your childhood wasn't easy at all. You have been switching homes between your grandmother, father, and mother. You've gone through difficult experiences as you are growing, yet you have learned to believe in yourself and cling to your dreams to survive. You have made your way up in the ladder of success through hard work, persistence, and your since consistency in believing your dreams. Opera, you have created unparalleled connection with people around the world by inspiring others through your experience and empowering others. What is the best piece of advice about life that you can share with us? What motivates you to reach your dreams and become success?
Stop comparing yourself to other people. To come through your life journey is about learning to become more of who you are and fulfilling the highest, truest expression of yourself as a human being. You must find a way to serve. I decided that I was no longer going to be just on TV, but I was going to use TV as a platform, as a force for good and not be used by TV. Whatever it is you choose to do to service and you bring significance to that, success will follow. You're responsible for your life. You are just wasting your time if you're waiting for someone to save you or fix you. Only you have the power to move your life forward. Forgive the past, take responsibility, and move forward. Always do the right thing. When you are excellent, you become unforgettable. Do the right thing even when nobody knows you're doing the right thing, because the third law of motion is always at work, which is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction that is all true in all our lives. Become more of yourself and grow yourself into the best of yourself. Surround yourself with great people, people who want the best for you, want you to be your best. Find your true passion, find what you love because you never get tired. If you do get tired, you are fueled by the energy of your work.
Wow, Ofra, you have been a great inspiration to many. You personify how every human being should be like, regardless of how challenging the prevailing circumstances would be. Thanks for taking your time with us. The audience and the viewers are all happy to hear from you. Thank you.
Let's now move on to our next presenter, Ruth Bader. Ruth Bader, take it away.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg has always been fighting for gender equality and women's rights. In 1970, she defended the case of Charles Moritz in the Court of Appeals. The provisions of the Internal Revenue Code Section 214, this deduction was restricted to a woman, a widower, or a divorcee. Ruth Bader regarded the case as a sex-based discrimination against males.
Mr. Bozart for the appellee, you may proceed.
Your Honors, and may it please the Court, Congress created this tax deduction to help caregivers go out and work. Caregivers, folks that if they weren't working, they would stay home. Now, are we meant to believe that this man would have the skills or the caregiver's instinct to do that?
Why can we believe that? Why does an unwed woman have that instinct but not an unwed man? Or a widower for that matter?
Widowers don't choose to be caregivers. Well, as for women, it doesn't take legal treaties to prove what 100,000 years of human history makes clear.
And Congress can write the tax code to enforce this natural law?
Well, Congress can write any tax code it wants. All I'm saying, Judge, is that given the natural order of things, Mr. Moritz not suffered as a result. But the country will suffer if the court doesn't find for the appealee. I, for one, would rather see my government on the side of caring too much, of trying too hard to help the ladies of this country, rather than be indifferent to their unique burdens. Now, maybe Mr. Moritz disagrees, or maybe he simply doesn't like paying taxes. I believe that Charles Moritz is a victim, not of his government, but the lawyers who use his case to achieve their own ends. Radical social change. Rest our case on our briefs and argument and ask the court to uphold the tax court's decision. Thank you.
Counsel for the appellant, you have 4 minutes for rebuttal.
Radical social change. When I was in law school, there was no women's bathroom. It's amazing to me now, but we never complained. Not because we were timid. We were just outstanding that we were in law school at all. 100 years ago, Mary Bradwell wanted to be a lawyer. She had fulfilled the requirements for the Illinois bar, but wasn't allowed to practice because she was a woman. On injustice, she asked the Supreme Court to correct. Illinois was so confident of victory. They didn't even send a lawyer to argue their side. They were right. She lost. That was the first time someone went to court to challenge his or her prescribed gender role. 100 years ago, radical social change. There are 178 laws that differentiate on the basis of gender. Count them. The government did a favor of compiling them for you, and while you're at it, I urge you to read them.
You're asking us to overturn nearly a century of precedent.
I'm asking you to set a new precedent, as courts have done before when the law is outdated.
But in those cases, the courts had a clear constitutional handle. The word woman doesn't appear even once in the US Constitution.
Nor does the word freedom, Your Honor.
Go on, Professor Ginsburg.
The principal purpose of Section 214 is not to protect women nor to discriminate against men. It is to provide caregivers the opportunity to work outside the home. We are not asking you to change the country. That's already happened without any court's permission. We are asking you to protect the right of the country to change. That is why you must take these laws on, one by one, for as long as it takes, for their sakes. You have the power to set a precedent that will get us started. You can right this wrong. We rest our case on our briefs and argument and ask that you reverse the tax court's decision.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg won the case and continued to be successful in her field. She co-founded the ACLU's Women's Rights Project. She became the leading gender rights lawyer of her generation, winning several landmark cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. On June 14, 1993, she was nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court.
This is Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Thank you for all of your contributions to our society.
May you rest in peace.
Contemporary woman, Malala.
I believe that every human has a right to freedom and a right for education. I wanted a future for my daughter Malala, in which she could be free, be educated, and be given a chance at every opportunity. Since she was young, I have been encouraging her to go to school and learn to stand in what she believed in. As a father, I think that education is very important for all daughters. Education is only way for the emancipation of women. It is not simply the learning of some skills for their professional life, but in reality, it is a way to their freedom, it is a way to their independence, it is a way to their individual integrity, and it's a way for to their life as a human being. I just let my daughter be and let her polish her own potential. Every man and every woman is born with potential, with great specialties and with diverse qualities. You just guide them in a proper way with their freedom of thought as a freedom of expression. Then you will have a different generation.
The face of a woman is a source of corruption. We will ban education and employment for women. We will order the mosque and illegal radio stations to announce the closure of all girls' education. And if any school continues to provide classes for girls, we will attack them. We will not allow women to appear in the streets without a blood relative or without wearing a burqa, and must not speak loudly in public as no stranger should hear a woman's voice. Photographing, filming, and displaying pictures of females in newspapers, books, shops, or at home will be banned. They must be taught in accordance with Islamic law. If they disobey the law, the Taliban religious police will give them severe punishment for disobeying the moral orders, including public execution, amputation, and stoning.
When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. I, Malala Yousafzai, speak not for myself, but for all girls and boys. I raise up my voice not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. The Taliban shot me in the left side of the head. They also shot my friends. They expected the bullets would silence us. They, however, failed. There's a saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. They are terrified of the power of education. They are afraid of women. They are terrified of women's voices. I travel to many countries to meet girls fighting poverty, wars, child marriage, and gender discrimination to go to school. Today, I'm focusing on women's rights and girls' education because they are suffering the most. There was a time when female social activists asked men to fight for their rights. But this time, we'll do it on our own. If one man can destroy everything, why can't one girl change it? With the help of my father, who has always been an ally and inspiration to me, I founded the Malala Fund, a charity dedicated to providing every girl with the opportunity to pursue the future she desires. In recognition of our efforts, I was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, making me the youngest Nobel laureate ever. And in the future, I will continue to fight to ensure that all girls receive a free, safe, and high-quality education for 12 years. One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. Thank you.
I am often consumed with thoughts about other respiratory pathogens, like influenza viruses. So sure, there are sleepless nights, but there are so many other issues like gun violence, access to care, wealth inequity, and other social justice issues that are innately public health issues that I don't have expertise on. And that really makes my mind wonder. At 36 years old, she worked night and day developing Moderna's vaccine. She just graduated from South Carolina University, but I believe she could do it. She'd always say she'll do the best in everything she does. Dr. Corbett, you have been a great help to this team. Studying the pathogenesis of RSV, we are all hoping for your success.
I will bring this wisdom into my next journey. I will not let Dr. Barney down and the whole world, not during these times. It's important that people not only feel as though they belong in the lab, but also that their voice is heard. Oftentimes, what I've seen, especially in bigger labs, is that younger scientists hesitate to express their opinion. I want to be a leader that exudes grace because there is so much pressure in science. And I know, as well as anyone, that sometimes experiments just don't work out. I will make this mission with a new team successful.
There might be a reason for what happened. We are going to fight it here, this room. I'm Dr. Jason McClellan. It's nice to meet you, Dr. Corbett.
It is an honor, truly, being able to collaborate with your team and investigators.
We are only a few steps into discovering the vaccine that would help the world. Now, my friend, I have to tell you about my favorite part of this process. We have transplanted stabilizing mutation from SARS-CoV-S into SARS-CoV-2 spike protein. Those of you who are not as close as I am will probably not remember what I talked to you about.
The pressure was intense, and the outcome was inspiring. The vaccine. The pressure was intense, and the outcome was inspiring. The vaccine was authorized in record time and has since been administered to tens of millions of people worldwide. What worked really well was the level of cross-institutional collaboration that was required to make this vaccine. The most successful labs are run by people who foster an environment where everybody feels like they belong. I want my lab to feel like a family, where everyone has each other's back.
Awards, congratulatory calls from world leaders, and dozens of high-profile media requests soon followed. Stowe did an offer to lead her own lab in the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health's Department of Immunology and Infectious Diseases.
It's still very sorry to me. I still cannot believe we as a team did that.
I don't remember when it was, but I do remember one day that I had to tell my team that I just couldn't make any more decisions that day. It felt like I was making a decision every minute, and it got overwhelming. And that's a really important lesson that I learned from the moment. You have to know when to say, okay, I have done everything I can do, and now I need to delegate. I became the best in what I do, because what motivates me is a dedication to improving people's health around the world.
Makakahinga na ang lahat, mga anak. Congratulations! My gosh, kung hindi ko sa inyo pwedeng ipakita pa yung score kasi mag-uusap-usap pa tayo, mas mataas sila magbigay ng grade sa akin. Yun lang masasabi ko. And they were chatting me already. To be honest, na-shock ako. Hindi ko inasahang ganito. I'm very proud. You know what? Kahit mag-isa ako ngayon sa Chiang Kai-shek at natatakot na ako, nawawala yung takot, mas nangingibabaw yung saya. And these are the things na bakit masarap magturo. Kahit nakaka-stress magturo, ang sarap magturo kapag ang mga estudyante mo binibigay ang best nila. And thank you mga anak for doing that. For reminding me not to quit this job. For reminding me that teaching is really not just a job, but a profession. Salamat mga anak for doing your best. Again, mga anak, thank you at I do hope that you will not forget this day that you become an icon today. Congratulations, mga anak. And goodbye, everyone.